Welcome to my talk on the Battle of Brunanburh, 937. It's quite a contentious historical debate, this one, but after a little bit of work I've discovered the solution. It did help me being from Burnley. It was the first historical mystery I came to, actually, and that's why I'm doing it first of this series. And for the simple fact, Brunanburh, it basically means the fort of the Brunan. And one of the elements of the battle's place names was Brunford. A couple of people, historians, gave that, basically meaning a ford of the River Brun. Now there's only one Brun in the whole of England, and that's the one that comes down from Black Hamilton on the border between Lancashire and Yorkshire and flows into Burnley, which was originally Brunley, which means clearing of the Brun. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. The Brunanburh case begins with King Athelstan, 926-927. Right, in this period, he is creating the early English Empire, the early England. And according to Roger of Hoverdon, in 927, this happens. King Sihtric departed this life, and King Athelstan, having expelled his son Guttural, who had succeeded his father, added his kingdom to his own dominions, Viking Northumbria. All the kings beside of the whole of Albion, namely Huald, king of the West Britons, Constantine, king of the Scots, and Wua, king of the Ventai, he conquered in battle and utterly routed. All of these, seeing that they could not resist his valour, met him on the fourth day before the Ides of July at a place which is called Eamot, E-A-M-O-T, and having made the oaths, made a lasting treaty with him. William of Malmesbury, another historian, has this to say of the similar events. The barbarians had no idea of resistance, but without delay, coming to a place called Dacor, D-A-C-O-R, they surrendered themselves and their kingdoms to the sovereign of England. Out of regard to this treaty, the king himself stood for the son of Constantine, who was ordered to be baptized at the sacred font. Okay, so we have Eamot and Dacor. That'll be at school, this. That's my handwriting, by the way. Eamot, we find in Emmet, and Dacor we find in Troden, which was originally Trocden. So I don't even know why I put Troden, I forgot. There was an earlier version. This is from like about 1263 or something. Dacor, so there you've got the Dac, there you've got the Troc, and Emmet. Now this is an edge of Colne, which is only 6 miles, if that, from Burnley, this place. And it's interesting that they're talking about the holy font, where the Prince of Scotland, the son of Constantine II, was baptised at the sacred font, because at Emmet Estate, there was what is called Halloween Well. And that goes back to the introduction of Halloween in about 835, there it goes, when Pope Gregory IV introduced the festival of All Hallows to Britain. So it predates Brunanburh. And there was actually a stone sacred baptismal font there that they used to go to for healing. So this has all happened in this area. So I'm going to show you something now. I'm going to give you a map. So you've got Colne here. Colne. You've got Burnley is about here. Burnley. Right? Now the river Brun, it actually meets the River Colne in that area. But that's the River Brun there. Coming into Burnley. Now, according to Egill's saga, which was written by Skallagrímsson, 13th century, there was a battle called Vinheath by Vinwood, in which Athelstan fought a man called Olaf the Red. Now he's probably he was said to be half Scottish, half Viking, descended from Ragnar Lodbrok, where it was called, and Longbriggs. And he's probably the son of Constantine with a Viking, but he died in the battle, lost to history. But that's another thing. Anyway, so Vinheath is here. Now going into Vinheath, you have what is now called Pendle Water, Colne Water, but it passes through a place called Winewall, right? Wall is volla, like for spring, so wall of the River Vine, which gives you the Vinheath. And according to the battle, there was 2 towns either side of Vinheath. Colne is like Roman, that's Corunio, you know, and the other one I'm saying is Brunford, because after it gets mentioned, it disappears roughly the same time that Brunley becomes predominant for the name for Burnley. So Burnley was originally called Brunford, ford of the River Brun. And this is the town. Now here's some more evidence that why Vinheath is between Colne and Burnley. Because right, in Eggill's saga we hear this when Earl Alfgeir is retreating from the battlefield. Then he rode to the south country, and of his travel 'tis to be told that he rode a night and a day till he came westwards to Earl's Ness. Then the Earl got a ship to take him southwards over the sea. Right, so look at that. Right, so I think something like this. Yeah, right. That's the Wirral. This is Lancashire. That's a bit shit. That's the River Ribble. Right. This is Burnley. And on the River Wirral, here, were 2 Viking ports called Ness and Neston. Right. So I'm saying that that's Earl's Ness. Obviously Earl's a Viking, there's a Viking in Earl's Ness. So this is the River Mersey, right, and it kind of leads in a way to the River Humber, north of which is Northumbria, south of which would presumably be Southumbria. And in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle in the year 702, King Kenred assumed the government of the Southumbrians. Now according to Eggill's saga, he rode to the south country. So he's riding to the south country, crossing over the Mersey, and of his travels is to be told he rode a day and a night till he came westwards to Earl's Ness. Earl's Ness. So it fits in with the Eggill's saga geography. And the only other record of an Earl's Ness in these parts of Britain is a Giles Ness, same thing, mentioned in the Orkneyinga saga, which is, and it's the Viking seaport of Ness and Neston. You know, the Orkneyinga saga says Svein sailed from the Isle of Man, so he could harry Wales, Redland, after he launched a deadly Viking attack upon the unsuspecting settlement of Giles Ness. So he's gone. This is what it says in the Orkneyinga saga. Then Svein and Horribald went on an expedition with 5 ships. They plundered in Bretland at a landing place called Giles Ness, so that Wirral would have been part of Wales, and committing great ravages. Blah blah blah. Okay. So now interestingly, going back to Vinheath and Burnley, there is 2 possible barrows because Eggill's mate Thorolf gets killed and gets buried in a Larkin barrow, and there's a massive one at Barrow Ford, and there's also another one called Alder Barrow, which is near the River Wyn, which I haven't excavated. No, I haven't looked at yet, but I will be checking that soon. Right, so that's 927. Battle when Athelstan beats King Ver of the Ventry, as I said at the beginning. Ver is in Verstone, which is near Burnley. So look, that's more reinforcement of that. And he's won the Battle of Vinheath. And after the Battle of Vinheath, he has got all the kings together in pretty much the same location and said, look, I'm the boss. Right, 10 years happened. Now, according to Eric Bloodaxe, no, according to Eggill's saga, 3 years and a couple of winters, no, 3 winters and a few more passed before Eric Bloodaxe is king of Norway. That happens in 934. Then there's another couple of winters, and then in the year 937, he's actually in Norway. Most people think that the Vinheath battle is Brunanburh, but it's not. It's fascinating actually, because what has happened is Brunanburh is fought near Vinheath, but not in the same place. Brunanburh's fought near Burnley, Vinheath is fought more near Cologne. There's a massive monument, I think it's called Sheffield Monument, that between Cologne and Burnley, that overlooks the valleys. It's beautiful, and that's probably related to the Battle of Vinheath. Anyway, so, what more evidence for me what I just said, that the Battle of Brunanburh is connected to the locality of Vinheath, comes with Simeon of Durham, who says, in the year 937, now of our Lord's nativity, Ethelstan fought at Viondun, blah blah blah, and they say that they came in along the Humber. But Vendun is another name for Vinheath. They mean the same thing. Dun means raised heath, and Vinheath is like Icelandic. Vendun is more Anglo-Saxon. So, he's back, and we know Athelstan's in Lancashire at some point, whether he's in the Battle of Vinheath or Brunanburh, because in the Mundana Mutabilia, in the Harlane collection, there's a Saxon deed which says, now lost, but we've got record of it, King Athelstan, lying in camp in this country upon occasion of wars, gave the land of Egilston unto one to himself was Belzire. Now, interestingly, Eggill's named after Eggill's saga, of course. So you've got an Eccleston in Charlie or Eccles Hill in Blackburn and Darwin, but we're dissecting. Right, Brunford was Burnley before Burnley was the name. And the names John of Fordun, the Scottish historian, gave it, and Ranulph Higden, he also said Brunford. Now, so that's happening. How do we get to Burnley again? Well, in this day and age, there's a lot of, well, I call them idiots myself, but they think, back to the Wirral, there's a place called Brunanburh there. Well, on one map in about 1750, there's a place called Brunanburh. So they're like, oh, this must be Brunanburh. In fact, they all think that there was like a western, that the Vikings landed here. But all the historians say they came in via the Humber here. So I'll give you how it goes in the Irish Chronicles, yeah? You've got 937, Annals of Clonmacnoise. The Danes of Lothbury arrived at Dublin, with all the Danes of Dublin and north part of Ireland departed and went overseas. Annals of Four Masters. The foreigners deserted Alcreath, Dublin, by the help of God and Mac Tail. Annals of Clonmacnoise. The Danes that departed from Dublin arrived in England, and then Roger de Hoveden, Analf, blah blah blah, entered the mouth of the Humber with a vast fleet amounting to 615 sail. And it's the same thing that Simeon of Durham said. So, they're coming from the west, come to York, the Viking capital. The Scots are coming down, the Strathclyde Welsh are coming down. They all meet again at the very same place where they gave their vows of fealty to Athelstan at Emmet near Cologne. It's probably some kind of symbolic fuck you. It's like, this is to renounce their vows. They've all come together to the exact same place. Now Athelstan hears this. In the meantime, he's built Brunanburh. Now Brunanburh is Right, you've got this list of forts built by the Anglo-Saxons, and I think 923 Manchester is the latest one recorded. Now, I think after 926, 927, here's Manchester's here, Burnley's here, he's built Brunanburh, and I've got a photograph of where I think it is. Right. This is Townley Hall, I don't know if you can see that, and there's a hill here which has Anglo-Saxon fortifications. I don't know if you can see that, that's a massive photo. See, it's a trench known as Castle Hill. So there was definitely a fortification built there, definitely. And according to, I'll read, this is from Thomas Dunn and Whitaker in the 18th century. Oh, I've got enough time for this, how long was it? 15 minutes. The original site of Townley appears to have been a tall and shapely knoll, southward from the present mansion, still denominated Castle Hill, and immediately adjoining to the farm called Old House, on the eastern and precipitous side of which are the obscure remains of trenches, which on 3 more accessible quarters have been demolished by the plough. So, the earliest name for Tunley was, Tunley with Brunshaw. That's like 12th century, just 200 years after Brunanburh. Brunshaw means wood of Brun. So it shows how that area was connected with that name from a very early time. Now, Castle Hill, Burnley. This is fascinating, this. I'm going to show you something else. I don't know if you can see that, right? That's basically a place called Everage Clough, which is about, what, less than a quarter of a mile from Castle Hill. Now here, there are 7 burial mounds all along the river and 1 more burial mound. Now this is fascinating, listen to this. This is according to the Annals of Clough. No, we'll go to the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle first. Anglo-Saxon Chronicle first says, Who came with Anulf over the sea surge in the bosom of a ship? Those who sought land, fated to fight. 5 lay dead on the battlefield, young kings, put to sleep by swords. Likewise also 7 of Anulf's Earls. 7. There's 7 Viking burial mounds right next to what I think is Brunanburh. Now that's not a coincidence. You know, the 8th one, that could have been anyone. It's a bit tough in the distance. Could have been the Prince of Scotland who dies. Anyway, what else is interesting about the Annals of Clough account? He actually gives the names of the Earls. But I'm going to read it to you. By the help of the Danes of that kingdom, they gave battle to the Saxons on the plains of Occitan, where there was a great slaughter of Normans and Danes. Which of these ensuing captains were slain? Sithri and Egill, the 2 sons of Sithric, Gaeli, Ole, Freut, and Moilemori, the son of Cosiwas, Moilisa, Gibakin, the king of the islands, etc., etc. Loads are dead, right? Interestingly, it says the name Otlin, the plains of Otlin. Now people have been scratching their heads for ages, I'll show you why. Otlin, the plains of Otlin. Now Burnley, centre of Burnley, and Townley especially, is very flat part of the world. But this is the situation, right? People have divided the name here. Lyn means pool, or that pond, or something like lake, Lyn, you know, the Welsh use it. Ot, so they've gone, it's the Lake of Ot, plains of the Lake of Ot. However, if you put the name here, the line here, you get this. Otul and in. Got this weird rhyme that way. Now in means ash tree. Otul is short for Etheldreda. Etheldreda was a queen who in the 600s was near a place called Altham, which is not far from Burnley in the direction of Accrington. And she's walking to Bradford, right? And she comes across this area of plains. Now this is in the 7th century, it was before Burnley would have been founded, so this flat area. And she finds, she's so thirsty, and then something to do with, she plants a staff in the ground, magical ash tree grows, ash in. Anyway, in the centre of Burnley there's a place called Shorey's Well, the very centre of like a well with water coming out of, where you could tap from the River Brun. And Shorey is a sort of version of Etheldreda. It's weird how they did it, but they've done it Dreda. But it's, look, the devolution, the process runs as follows. From Etheldrith, the name becomes Aldri, and then degenerates even further to Shorey. That's what we've been told. So, the plains of Othlin, you remember? So she's on the plains of Etheldreda's ash. It's exactly the same as this obscure myth about 7th century queen, who's between Accrington and Bradford. It's incredible. Okay, we're going to the last half of facts. I think I've got enough. I think I do, yeah. So, this is what happens. According to the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, the West Saxons pushed onward all day. In troops they pursued the hostile people. They hewed the fugitive grievously from behind. There the Northman's chief was put to flight by need constrained to the prow of a ship with little company. He pressed the ship afloat, the king went out on feline flood. He saved his life. Departed then the Northmen in nail ships, the dejected survivors of the battle, over Dingersmere, over deep water, sought Dublin. Right. There was Viking ting in the world. That's Dublin, right? There was a Viking ting here, so the Wirral set, I call them the Wirral set, they decided, because the map from the 18th century said that says Brunanburh, there was a ting there, and they said they crossed Tingersmere, thinking mere was a marsh of a swamp, but it's not, it's mere as in the sea, because there's no comma in the actual text. The doubling up the poetic devices, the Brunanburh poet, over Dingersmere, over the deep water, there's no comma or space between them. No, full stop. They're the same entity. They do it all the time. So, the ting would have been the Isle of Man ting. Out white, do proper ting in it like. Isle of Man ting. The Sea of the Ting. The Irish Sea was once called Dingersmere, the Sea of the Ting, because that would have been the central place for all Viking England and Scotland. You know, the lords of the islands of Hebrides and Man they would have come here and brought all, you know, it's like a holiday. Let's go to the Isle of Man for a holiday and have a chat. So, remember, so these are the things, the West Saxons pushed onward, all day in troops they pursued the hostile people. So Burnley to the Ribble, I walked it myself, it's 18 miles. Like, that's about an all-day pursuit after a battle. What's that? 4.5 hours? Probably quicker because you're running. Right, and there he's put onto a ship because the Ribble was navigable up to about Preston. But I mean, you look at the Curedale Hoard, it's buried there. I think that's connected to the 927 Battle of Vinheath, but that's for another story. Yeah, feline flot means shingle beaches and deep water. There's loads of shingle at the navigable bits of the River Ribble in Preston. So I think, oh yeah, I just wanted to go back to that, in these two Anglo-Saxon poems there, Cold, Christ and there's Seafarer, each of which have that poetic device of doubling up the metaphor. On the sea flood over the cold water, or on the path of the whale over the expanse of the seas, same meaning, two ways of saying it, over Dingersmere, over deep water. It's exactly the same device, what they used. Yeah, so I think they got to Walton le Dale, where the bridges, got in the Viking ships, went over to Dublin. So there you go, that's the Brunanburh case thus far. I think the Everage Clough stuff is the latest stuff, figuring that out, and you know, you're looking for the burials of 7 Viking Earls, and you find a place near the place where he thinks Brunanburh, which has 7 burials, Viking shaped. Along with piecing all the rest and all of it together, I think it's pretty conclusive that Brunanburh will be in Burnley. So we're looking to find, the evidence will come when Castle Hill is excavated, and you will find Anglo-Saxon deposits from the year 927 to the year 937, perhaps a little after that. I think it probably went into disuse not long after Brunanburh was secured. Didn't really need it anymore, the defence, I don't think. There's also these 2 Viking burials, possible ones, one in Barrowford, which is huge. That could have been Thorolf, or that could also have been the Battle of Winwade. So, but there's a place called Older Barrow, which is slap bang where I think the Battle of Vinheath is, near Winewall. I'm not sure what it is, but I've got a feeling that could be it as well. We shall see, but the feelings has got us this far, and I hope you're enjoying my wee talk, and yeah, happy days.